Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Pulp to Pixel Media.
Exploring the media multiverse of geek culture.
He meddled in things potentially well.
Hello, I'm Gotham Shran, creator of the science fantasy comic, The Last Earth. I'd like to welcome you to my speed drawing and art process videos. Each week, I'll take you behind the scenes in the creation of my weekly comic strip. If you like this video and wish to be informed when new videos drop, then make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date. So we're now in week 1, the very first week. I just released the series last Friday, and the next one will be coming out, week 2 will be coming out this Friday. And my plan right now is each week after, and I will have the speed drawing process. I wanted to make these as a way of talking about my influences, the backstory, and kind of going through the process and watching me evolve as a cartoonist as I take my first step in my first official comic strip, I should say. All right, so as you can see right now, I'm working on the cover image, which you saw earlier in the video. This one, for those of you saw at the beginning, this is definitely taken from the Akira slide, the very famous bike slide that Akira does, or Kaneda does in Akira. So this is my homage to that. I'd never done it before, and so I decided to. All right, so let me talk a little about this series and the background of it as we look at the first couple of panels in the story. This was originally, this idea is coming out of a what if story, and I'll cover that in a little more depth, but this is pretty much my love letter to the 80s, specifically toys, the kind of science fantasy toys like Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Sectors, Visionaries, all of those, especially the ones that also had a tie-in cartoon or comic books. Masters of the Universe being the major one there. And also things like role-playing games of the 80s and 90s. Specifically, Dungeons & Dragons is one of the big influences. In fact, the other set of influences to 80s pop culture is the Appendix N books from Dungeons & Dragons. This was the list that Gary Gygax had created to show all of the influences and books that had influenced the creation of Dungeons & Dragons. From that series, that list, is Jack Vance's Dying Earth. And as you can see with this first page set 250 million years in the future, this is a Dying Earth story. This is about a Earth of the far future where Earth has changed so much in that far future that it is effectively post-apocalyptic by our standards. So here we're having the setting. I wanted that orbital debris ring, so it'll be in the sky a lot of times. It's kind of a way to also kind of mark position. I'm trying my best to keep that very consistent throughout the series, so keep an eye on that, see if I can do that. And as you can see, there's no dialogue yet in these. You can catch the dialogue on the strip in my Instagram where I post it weekly, or on my main website, Pulp to Pixel website. You'll see more information of that at the end of the video. Here we have our main hero, Sir Steelheart, and the wasteland sort of cycle that he rides, and is going to be kind of his main form of transportation throughout the series. This is inspired by kind of 2 toys. Everything design-wise is inspired by toys or specific comic book characters, things like that, but specifically toys for the vehicles and buildings and things like that. So this one is actually inspired by 2 toys, specifically the motorcycle from, or the 2-seater sort of with the sidecar from the Secret Wars, which was one of the major inspirations for this series in the first place, Secret Wars as an idea. And the Cyclones from Robotech, the Invid Invasion. I took a lot of inspiration from those 2 sets of vehicles. All right, and here we have a close-up of our armored hero, the Techno Knight, as we'll see him called later, of Sir Steelheart. Again, you'll see the dialogue and information in the panels when you go see them online. Thanks again for joining me on my art process journey as I create my comic strip, The Last Earth. You can follow me on the web at www.pulp2pixel.com and on Instagram and Twitter at pulp2pixel. See the show description for links to my Linktree, my merch store, and donation site. See you next time when we return to the distant future of The Last Earth.